I do not want the match arena page on. Turn that off. Alrighty, what's up, Swokupi? What's going on? Thank you so much for the Twitch Prime sub at the very start of the stream. Thank you so much. There's some love in the chat for a fresh new subscriber to kick off today's stream. As we have to the top right hand side, our blue Terran player is Taeja. And to the bottom left hand side, our red Terran is going to be aLive. I saved your evening? Why? What was wrong with your evening until now? You just had no StarCraft to watch? Is no one else live? Why isn't people live on a Tuesday evening? Yikes. I wouldn't know why not. Thank you so much for the Twitch Prime though, sub though. I do appreciate it. Jeremy, welcome to my daily life audio of slowly bugging me. I mean, slowly keeps telling me I should use Discord announcements, otherwise that she never gets to show up on time at the start of the stream. I'm like, I don't know, maybe you should take the hint. Loco's live, we're not playing StarCraft. What's Loco playing? He just mentioned that he's going to play a new game. Twitch.tv/Loco. It's only one of those guys, by the way, guys, where... Oh, no, that's Twitch.tv/Loco. That's not quite right. Loco is playing Divinity Original Sin. But he isn't live. Loco just went offline. So there you go. Loco isn't even live either. Boom. Who knew? Alrighty. Taeja versus aLive, some TVT. So last week, Taeja took down Cure in a TVT matchup in this tournament. And so interested to see if Taeja can deliver yet again. And as we have that barracks coming down on the natural expansion. So barracks command center coming down on the natural expansion. Oh dear, Wardy, is it going to be one of those days? Is this where we're going with the day? Oh dear, oh dear. Well, we do see the first SCV coming across the map to scout, and that's going to be from Taeja. It's been across, it's had a look to see what's going on. It's now heading back home as the Reaper will look to take its place. Just going to sit up on the high ground though. Taeja not going to get too adventurous with this, just in case it wanders into too difficult of a situation to get out of. Just going to play defensively with the Reaper. Obviously, a lot of the time, if you kind of go across the map with the Reaper, have your opponent's Reaper's going to be there and have an advantage, or you're just going to be out of position to defend yourself, and, you know, then it just gets a little bit weird and complicated in general. Anyways, command center's finishing up on the natural expansion from both players here. Taeja going to be opening into a second barracks very quickly, then into the factory, so almost like a 2-1-1 play. aLive going a bit more regular, as we would call it, as we see the barracks on the way down. Sorry, the barracks is down, finished up, starting up a tech lab. Starport is here, the factory is finished up. That's the important part of all of this right now. And with the factory finished up, you can start to produce those factory-based units, the Hellion, the Cyclone, and see what you want to commit into. As Taeja just goes straight to Stim, and he is not messing around at all. Few Marines on the way up. Factory is finished, and we do see the Starport probably going to be starting up in a few moments' time as well there, over in the main, as the Reaper starting to come across around this right-hand side. Banshee on the way up here from aLive as well, so Banshee on the way in now, as this SCV comes all the way to the top side of this. Pops down a depot, and yeah, Stim Pack on the way from Taeja still, just waiting to see what he's going to do with such a fast Stim Pack here. Going to be fairly interesting as we do see the Banshee is on the way up. Banshee's definitely going to change things a little bit because, I mean, it's just a setup from aLive that should generally allow him to do a lot of damage throughout the early stages of the game. It should allow him to come in and, you know, pick off a couple of units here, a couple of workers, and just try and push himself ahead. But with that Stim Pack so fast from Taeja, you're going to have to be really careful to make sure you do have the units at home to defend, and the ability to hold off a large bio-based attack, because if that force comes stimming up into your natural or into your main, you're going to run into trouble very, very quickly. Marines do spread out across the breadth of this ramp, ready to greet anything that tries to run up here already for some early information. And on the other side, well, I mean, there's the scan to just check what exactly is going on. It's a good scan, of course, from Taeja. I mean, what a scan. Sees pretty much everything. Sees a Cyclone, sees the tech lab on the Starport, researching. You could not possibly have gotten more information from a single scan there. Now, as you see the factory starting up a tech lab, the likely scenario of this is that we're probably going to be seeing the siege tank production and moving this in towards some sort of a tank-based push in the near future. As we do see this Banshee coming in, and one SCV goes down, and another, and another. So that's already 3 workers down, and still counting here, actually. As that's going to be some good damage done 4 workers killed, as we do see the couple of SCVs working away here and there. There's the Marine stimming in to try and get that Banshee, and the Banshee will fall. Scan there from Taeja, not even sure if it was necessary, but the idea was good. If the scan wasn't there, then he would have maybe lost track of it and maybe would have gotten away. So he's just making sure as he stims up this ramp, he goes for the SCV target. So he probably knows he can't get the bunker. He's going for the bunker now, but as stim begins to fade away, it's not going to happen. So in the end, Taeja just trades out 5 workers for, well, his Marines, a good chunk of them. And now he's going to lose some workers of his own over on this side. There's another group of Marines stimming though. And again, just having stims so early kind of makes it a bit comical watching these Banshees try and get damage done. Because, okay, yes, he got a couple of workers. It's just we're so used to seeing the Banshees coming in and being like, oh my god, slow Marines are trying to get it. And, oh, they're just out of, like, stim Marines just like, no, we're here. We don't even have to drop a scan. You're still in, you know, missile turret range by the time you realize. As you see those few Marines gathering together to go and go down the bottom left and reinforce the Marines that are already across here. Banshee number 3 shows up, and this Banshee is also going to be pushed away fairly quick and actually just straight up shut down. And again, aLive is essentially just trading out for scans at the moment, which is not the best of trades for the most part, I would say. We'll generally be looking for a little bit more as Taeja loads up, and he's going to look for a drop into the main. Well, there's actually a tank here to defend and a few Marines as well, so this unload's going to be a bit more successful than I originally thought. These 2 tanks that sieged up are actually very out of position. You can see that Taeja just finding himself into a very good spot behind this mineral line. Already a good amount of workers going down. 7 of them have dropped. Now he lifts up these Marines into the medevac. The Cyclone lock-on gets the full medevac of Marines. And that's just a little bit of a disaster there for Taeja. Losing out on a lot more than he was probably bargaining. Because do you expect that full medevac of Marines to get taken down? No, probably not, is the answer. That was unfortunate, as his own 3rd CC will now be finishing up. aLive's is already finished and morphed into an orbital. Extra barracks coming down from aLive as well. aLive is trailing in the bio upgrades though, naturally. I mean, he was so late on the stim pack, so he's still behind on that, and he is going to be behind on the +1/+1, as his own +1 is actually just about halfway done, but +1 armor can start up nice and quickly, so he's not going to be too far behind, but it is definitely a Taeja advantage in that regard. 3rd command center has landed, starts to morph into an orbital now. As this Banshee from aLive on the left-hand side of the map is going to be heading across. Another Banshee. I mean, he's already lost 3 of them this game, and has he really found significant damage with them? I'd kind of like to say no, he hasn't. Have they really been a worthwhile investment? They've done okay here and there. They found some scans. This is really nice. He shows up on this base before there's a missile turret around. So this is some free pickings in terms of SCVs. In the meantime, Taeja trying to press forwards, but is turned around by siege tank fire, unable to get anything done here. And this medevac just sat healing, because what else are you meant to do? As aLive picks up 5 worker kills, gets himself out of there, trails by 7 workers, but is 20 army supply ahead. And we'll see if he can retain that. As you see, Taeja kind of feels like Taeja's just losing a lot of units without gaining much. This is another shutdown of a drop here. Medevac, 2 tanks, Marines all going down. 1 medevac escapes, and again, Taeja will fall further behind in the army supply. And if he keeps taking fights like this, where he loses a lot to not really gain very much, he's going to find himself being overwhelmed here in the very near future, whether he has a 2-2 upgrade advantage or not. You know, obviously upgrades are fantastic, especially in mirror matchups, don't get me wrong. Upgrades are so pivotal, because if you have the exact same unit firing against each other, naturally the unit with the upgrade is going to win every single time. And it makes things a big difference. But, if you're just completely overwhelmed, well, that analogy doesn't quite work out, does it? If there's 3 Marines to every 1 Marine you have, it's a much different story. Now, that said, aLive currently does not have combat shields, so if he's looking for a push in, he has to be very careful, because those Marines are not as strong as he'd like them to be. It means the Marines will the tanks will one-shot them pretty easily, actually. A tank fire doing 40 damage, and once the stim comes down, it means the Marines are down on 35 health already. So just the fact that they can die in 1 tank shot after a stim, that alone is kind of huge here. As we see, aLive is very desperate to take this position. Taeja kind of showing us just how low a number of army supply units he has. He's going to have to pull SCVs in to turn this away, and so he will lose 21 workers. Did he need all of that? It kind of feels like he did, because he barely has any Marines left over, as this tank at the end is still picking up kills. Finally goes down. Now a Banshee in the main base, looking for a few more shots, but is not going to get anything. Miscontrolled. aLive just throwing that in there as a bit of a You know, a bit of a Hail Mary, like, see what you can do, but I don't really want to pay attention to you. I want to pay attention to the rest of the army that's out on the map already. Scan drops in from aLive as he has a look around to see what is perhaps going on. +1 vehicle weapons on the way up currently from our Terran player, so it is going to be coming in from Taeja too. Taeja's still the king of the upgrades currently in this first game of this best of 7, guys. Again, it's a best of 7 team match. Our initial matches here today between Group Assignment Titan. Next one are Taeja versus aLive. That's going to be followed up by Bunny versus FanTaSy. Some more TVT. Then we got a ZVP between Impact and PartinG. Then that 2v2. And again, we've got 2 best of 7s in total for you guys this evening. And as we do see the cycle and pushing up the right side, forces a cancel on that 4th base. Taeja quick to respond with a few Marines, but not quick enough to save the command center. The cancel is not the end of the world, but still painful, still will be remembered. And drop into the main base now is aLive. Drops a lot more than what Taeja was dropping, and that means he's got a little bit more of a substantial force here right away. Starts to go after the starport. The factory could be a great target as well. He has been going for a couple of add-ons here and there. Marines continue to come down to the bottom side of this, and we're just going to be seeing these Marines of Taeja coming in and picking off a couple of siege tanks. A couple of siege tanks going down. More Marines of aLive unloading off over to the right-hand side. A 4th base from Taeja sets up to the top. Obviously, having been cancelled here, he has to go elsewhere. And that's where aLive has an advantage once again. A command center ahead. Army supply ahead. Now workers account is ahead. The only thing that Taeja has is the upgrades. We'll see if he can use them in some way to manifest an advantage in the game. A few Marines starting to come through the center. And we are going to be having pretty quickly here some units of aLive coming in and arriving and shutting those down without really any issue at all. Again, Taeja's just going to be looking for map control here, moving around with a couple of units, moving around with a medevac, poking, prodding, looking for weaknesses, looking for chances for him to maybe just dive on in here and to get something done. Another Marine gets taken down as we still see aLive pushing in towards the upper right side of this, and again, Taeja struggling that work count. Just aLive from the earlier stages had a good army, and these good armies have really gone a long way as, oh, that's going to be messy. I mean, the tanks of Taeja finally clean out the tanks of aLive, but not before they get some good shots down. Marines waiting here, and those medevacs are low, so no way could they even begin to think about flying over a group of Marines. That would be a disaster waiting to happen, as medevacs will unload then. And there's only going to be, what, 1 tank here from aLive. Meanwhile, Taeja has at least 7 just sat on his 3rd base. He has got the 4th base up to the top side too, so all of this time, which he's somewhat bored by not allowing aLive to get in anywhere and to really commit to an attack. It's allowed them to get up in towards a 4th base now. 2 more tanks and a few more Marines, all gathering up toward the bottom left. Sim comes in, a couple of Liberators get taken down right away as those tanks sieged up from Taeja. Getting a good volley off. Marines thinking about turning it around, getting some damage done again. +3 attack, +3 armor on the way through here as well. Ooh, aLive going to find those tanks all sieged up, and he just begins to drop on top of them. I mean, you force the unsiege, he already has a crazy number of Marines. Every single tank goes down. Oh, wow. Well, that's going to be obviously a very good fight for aLive. And I mean, aLive was already the one who was somewhat controlling the armies. Free kicks in now from Taeja and will allow him to push this away again. But feels like aLive's just playing that long-term game where he knows, give it a few minutes, and he's going to be so far away that, or so far ahead here, that he's just going to be off and away with the game. Taeja's not going to be able to mount a comeback. I mean, the one advantage Taeja has is the upgrades. And what upgrades are going to do when you're 2/3 of the army supply of your opponent? Not really very much. Again, upgrades are good, but they're not that good. Even in mirror matchups, these Marines don't even have medevacs to heal them, and this position is going to be overrun as Taeja backs away. There's an attack coming up defensively, and aLive will give that some respect and give it some space as he cancels this base, forces it to lift off, makes it think about relocating potentially. Yeah, another scan just getting thrown down here from Taeja. As you see a scan up to the top side from aLive. Couple of tanks just going to be dealing some damage there, and again, Marines, tanks, SCVs all pulled back a little bit from Taeja, so all of these just pulled back slightly. As you do see the +2 vehicle weapon upgrade coming in on each side of this, so again, that's getting ready to go. Again, just going to have this tank taking a little bit of damage. Marines are going to start stimming forwards. Just a little bit of a hold off here from Taeja. I mean, aLive just missing his medevacs to heal up these Marines. He's got another large army coming around the left-hand side. And we are going to be seeing those tanks sieging up again. Maybe ready, getting these Marines ready to run on in. Planetary force on the left side obviously can be repaired for a little bit here, but how long will it really hold on for as Taeja? Oh my god, he's actually going to save it. Oh my god, Taeja saves the command center. That's actually pretty sick. I mean, that was not really expected. As you see, the Marines is going to be gathering up the medevacs as well. To the right-hand side, aLive is just going to pull everything together. I mean, he's still very far ahead, 70 supply. Nothing to be laughed at. It's 40 army supply, it's 30 workers. aLive has got this one in the bag. It's just Taeja's been very, what's the word? I can't think of the word I want to use. Arrogant in terms of giving up in a way, I suppose. He's going to fight until the very end. He knows that aLive's taking a couple messy fights, for example, trying to kill this Planetary Fortress when it didn't actually go down. I mean, you never know when you're only 1 or 2 fights away from that happening and it actually swinging the game around. So Taeja's just going to be a little bit cautious. He doesn't necessarily know just what position aLive is in because he's been kept on his own side of the map so much this game. The Planetary Fortress this time will go down. No amount of repair is going to save it here. The tanks are staged up though from Taeja, so well, aLive will actually just lift up and go and drop on top of them right away. Tries to get some kills. Taeja's tanks protect themselves, but aLive just loads up himself, makes sure he doesn't get stimmed after and chased down. He can boost away everything in those medevacs. And boom, reinforcements already just pouring on out. Got a few more Marines just going to be unloading here, as well as tank siege, and Taeja starting to get ready to go once again. Stubborn is the word I was looking for, actually. Yeah, stubborn. He's been very stubborn in giving up. He is going to fight until the very last moments here. I need to relog and delete these freaking overlays or logos from my screen. They're really triggering me, the fact they're on again. Marines and tanks coming up to the top, and through the center we do have Taeja going through as well. Marines are going to stem in, and they are going to go after the orbital command. And Taeja knows it's over. GG's. Game number 1 of this first best of 7. Give me a moment, guys. I just need to mute up, and I'm going to take my hoodie off. It's a little bit warmer in here than I thought it was, so just give me 2 seconds. Alright. Game number 2. God damn it. Take my hoodie off and suddenly my glasses are all full of muck and ugh. Give me a second. Otherwise I'm not going to be able to see the screen. If I can't see the screen, we can't talk about what's going on. Alright, to the bottom right hand side, representing the group assignment, this is the red Terran player, FanTaSy. And to the top left hand side, our blue Terran player is Bunny. Another TVT here. And looking to see what the openings alone are going to look like. I wish I didn't check Wikipedia. Feels bad, man. I'm sorry, there's no good way to do this, though, like... there's no good way to do it. I know it's not ideal casting replays, but obviously this was already cast in English live, right? I mean, it's not like we could have showed it. We could have showed up live and cast it, right? That's the thing. We could have showed up live, but then would anyone have watched? Because we would have been cast at the same time as Base Trade. Crank said me and Base Trade could both cast it. And my original plan was that maybe me and Riv can just co-cast it together, because we did a lot of co-casting recently, and so I thought, well, you know, if we both want to cast it, maybe I could just cast, you know, co-cast with Riff on base trade. So I asked him, and Riff just didn't reply to me. And he seemed to ask Zombie Grip to just do the whole season with him, so F Wardy. Feels bad, man. So I decided to that we do it this way. It worked quite well last week, and we'll keep doing it as long as it does well and people are interested. Where basically we'll collect the replays. Crank will send us the replays over every week. He doesn't mind doing that. And yeah, and we'll cast them in like a European time zone. So like a few hours later than when they're originally cast, on a different day, so that people that missed the first broadcast can watch it and stuff like that. And so on and so forth. So yeah, that's kind of the plan. If it keeps on working, it works. Obviously, eventually, at some point though, people are going to get spoiled. I mean, it's just one of those things. It's not going to be ideal for everyone. But hopefully, it's still better than casting nothing at all this evening. Put it that way. Put it that way. I like to look at it in positives, you know? I like to look at it in the positives. Anyways. Let's see what happens if we see a couple of Cyclones. Currently, just getting set up and ready to roll. You have these a couple of Reapers off to the side as well. The players are playing, well, they played a pretty standard, kind of similar 3 minutes opening, but post 3 minutes it's definitely taken a bit of a turn. We see, I mean, FanTaSy goes straight into Stimpack on his barracks, and he's going to drop down a second Rax as well on a reactor. So once again, he's going to be playing kind of bio heavy, or I say once again, but his team is going to be playing bio heavy because that's how Taeja played. Bunny's in the 1-1-1 setup, a Raven on the way out, a factory that can make a siege tank, and he's even starting a third CC. Both players have 2 Cyclones up at least to play with, and it's 2 defensively here from Bunny. Against 4 aggressively from FanTaSy, he's about to push in. One Cyclone goes down instantly, and the other Cyclone being targeted pretty quick. A couple of Reapers come down to the low ground to help out. Maybe the Raven can help with an interference Matrix. I'm actually not sure how you defend this right now as FanTaSy comes in and forces the lift off, and I guess that's how. You just take your time and you go back up to the high ground and give your opponent the low ground for a moment or two. So giving yourself the low ground for a moment or two as we do see those Cyclones continue to push in. Locks onto the Raven. Doesn't have the high ground vision to continue though. That would have been one hell of a pickoff before the Raven even did anything. That would have been one hell of a pickoff. So that would have been pretty sick. As we do see, Bunny is finally got a tank out. And I guess maybe the tank with the lack of high ground vision will be enough. It's a bit of a shame there isn't a scan from FanTaSy, because he probably could have killed the tank. Then again, I guess the Raven with interference Matrix, the Cyclone, yeah, I guess maybe not in the end. Maybe if you target down the tank, you lose all the Cyclones, in which case the tank's very replaceable at that point, because it already did its job in defending. Huh, interesting. The Muslim raid incoming. Oh my god, we're gonna be famous! Ah! Have we seen the almighty Taeja yet? Unfortunately, yes, we have. Taeja played in the very first game of the day. Unfortunately, did lose out, but he might be back for the 2v2, and depending if his team win the 2v2, it is very possible that he could be revived for later on. So there is some possibilities in this format to see players again a little bit later. No Muslim host incoming. Wow, did I guess get trolled? I really thought I was going to be famous. I thought I was going to make it in life. I thought this is the moment my career was going to turn around. And it's just not happening. Feels bad, man. So that's cool. It's cool. We don't need the Muslim hosts. Ugh. 9 SCVs go down across the map, as over here a few SCVs take some damage, but they don't actually fall. So it's FanTaSy that loses out on 9 workers as drops go down on each side of the map. That's going to be seeing the 2 medevacs. Just going to be sitting up the top, and we do see this auto turret getting to work as well. And a few Cyclones poking in for some SCV kills. Wow, look at this. FanTaSy getting some counter damage. Finally getting some worker kills. Oh, killer workers though. He's targeting the CC. It's a lot of damage onto the command center that could have been elsewhere. Imagine that had all been on SCVs. FanTaSy would have taken a bit more of a lead than just to being 2 workers ahead currently. Just going to be seeing that Marine and tank combo sitting at the front as we do see the 2 medevacs going to escape out through the top. That combat shield upgrade coming in right now from FanTaSy as well, so that's going to be finishing very shortly here. And there are those 2 medevacs heading down to the bottom right-hand side. So the 2 medevacs continue to head down to the bottom right. Marines and a tank from FanTaSy just set up over here. There's medevac going to be diving in towards the main base in the next couple of moments. As those Marines from FanTaSy are ready to deflect, though, they're just sat there like, come at me, you know. Come at us, Medevac. We got you. We got you covered. Alright, well, 7.5 minutes in, as Bunny gets up into his bio upgrades, the game will begin to even out a little bit. Biggest difference, the third CC of Bunny is up, and there's no third CC from FanTaSy. And FanTaSy keeps on being denied mining by this Raven, which throughout all of this has picked up 8 kills of its own. Has been a participant in getting the work counter beaten, 47 versus 46. That Raven definitely helping out throughout. As you will see, the free medevac still just flying, cruising through the top side of things here on Fracture. Combat shield is dropping down from Bunny, as we see another couple of barracks being added on. So another couple of racks being added into play now, as these medevacs going to dive on by into the main. A couple of tanks are going to be sieging up, and well, going to start dealing quite a bit of damage. Marines are pushing forward to try and see what else they can get up to as well. SCV is pulling in, and it is going to be a clean-up FanTaSy's army. Kills 9 workers, but it does cost him a lot of army, right? And that's always an issue. You throw away a lot of army, and it means that counterattacks are definitely very potent. However, army supplies currently sit 48 to 52. They're still pretty even, so can Bunny even do anything with a counterattack? I guess we'll see in a moment or so, as we see they miss our turrets. Some shots on those medevacs as they make their escape. FanTaSy going to get a third base up in location in the next moment or two here, so that's definitely going to help out a little bit. It's going to be finished right there. There's that Cyclone pushing out into the center of the map, and well, just I guess no need for a Cyclone in the main army now. It's just going to push forwards. Combat shields versus no combat shields currently, but FanTaSy doesn't really have the numbers in this little bit of a drop, which he was pushing up top. Sees that our whole army of Bunny moving forwards now, and for army supplies, I guess army supplies are now changing up a little bit. It's now 65 to 58. I guess it has been changing, but, Well, I mean, I guess it is a little bit of an advantage to Bunny, who starts to push on in. Interference Matrix comes down here. I mean, also with FanTaSy having these units out of position, they're not here to defend. Means that Bunny gets himself into a good little spot, and FanTaSy can't really fight against it much. He just has to really rely on his defenses. But she is starting to do. Another tank sieges up, and the sensor tower taking some damage. And a few Marines just chilling behind the tank line there. Another couple of Vikings showing up at the moment, and just going to be seeing these extra Marines still on the way out, +1 armor coming through as well on the engineering bay as those 2 Vikings come forwards, and again just pushing the Raven and pushing the medevacs away. So a couple of Vikings of FanTaSy going to hold the high ground. FanTaSy's counter drop just sat around forever, not really doing anything. I guess it made units come forwards before the third CC was dropped. FanTaSy still sits 16 workers ahead. If he can hold this position, oh wow, he's actually going to find himself a siege tank and maybe 2. That's nice. I mean, again, if he holds this position, FanTaSy might just straight up win this game because of the worker advantage which he has. Right now, that looks very good for him. He's got a couple of Liberators coming in as well. I'm a little bit worried that a lot of FanTaSy's units are just these tech-heavy units, like the Vikings, the Liberators. Yes, they're good supporting units, but you usually need the Marines to be there in the front. And without the Marines in the front, I do just wonder, is there anything that can really fight this? They're also kind of like immobile. You have to siege them up to be able to do anything, and I mean, these Marines are just overrunning right now. Interference Matrix helped on that tank here. Across the map, these Marines do some damage as well, but I really feel the Marines would have been better off on this side. Yes, they did some damage, but there's no recovering from your third base being pushed back like this. And your SCVs continue to drop. Tanks siege up and forwards as well, and that's the issue too. FanTaSy lost all of his siege tanks already. Interference Matrix on the Liberator. These Vikings are picking away at medevacs, but Bunny just don't care as he continues to go absolutely wild here. It's 110 to 50 supply. And that, my friends, is GG. Bunny takes game number 2 of this best of 7 for Titan. just following this conversation, I'm just like, wow, mental. Alright guys, let's do this as we kick off. Still up right hand side, our red Protoss player is, of course, PartinG. And this, to the bottom left hand side, our blue Zerg is Impact, whose team, Titan X1, are 2-0 up in this best of 7. And if after this we have the 2 versus 2 matchup, And then we have the all-kill phase, if it isn't a 4-0. I want to believe in Partin, I'll say. But Impact's been really, really good lately. Like, really, really good. He's been very impressive. He 4-0'd Deer in the WardiTV Summer Championship Korean server tournament. I mean, in general, he's just been really good. So, I'm not sure. Partin has been streaming a lot, and he's been a lot of fun, and he's definitely got that kind of skill level to win games. And he could definitely beat Impact. It's just, if I had to pick one of them, I would pick Impact most of the time. And that's not to say Partin doesn't have a chance. Again, it's, you know, I'd say maybe if they played a best of 5, I'd expect Impact to win 3 games to 1. In a best of 1, anything could actually really happen, and this is essentially a best of 1. So, we'll see. But my money is, for the moment, on Impact. Definitely my favorite in this as we enter the early game of PvZ. Did Taeja already play? Yes, Taeja already played, but he might get to play in the 2v2, and if they win the 2v2 as team, they might get to revive him for the all-kill section as well. So there might be some more Taeja coming up. If this is a best of 1, then why is Impact up 2-0? Because it's a best of 7. But it's not a best of 7 between Impact and Partin, it's a best of 7 between the teams. But it's essentially a best of 1 within the best of 7. And then once you got the best of 1 and the best of 7, you get the best of 5, you try and squeeze it in the middle. And then what you really think about is essentially it's a best of 3 into the 2v2 best of 3 all-kill, combined to make the best of 7, and someday it'll be a best of 9. Inception, best of 7, best of 1. Boom. There's a best of 1 between these two players, but if they win, I mean, it's essentially a best of 1. It's a best of 7 team match, and so this one game between the two of them is essentially a best of 1. It's one map between the two of them. Just say it's Pro League style Team League as opposed to GSTL style. Oh, but that's where it gets confusing, because after game number 4, it is all-kill. So it's Pro League style for the first 3 maps, then it's game number 4 2v2, then it's all-kill games 5 to 7. It's insane, isn't it? It's insane. My brain hurts after all that. Perfect. Now you guys won't notice, but I make loads of mistakes in the casting. Is WardiTV Team League Season 8 style? No, no, Muku. These games actually happened. You see? That's the difference. These games are actually happening. Let's not talk about the Team League. Team League's dead. Just to put it out there, like, in case no one heard. WardiTV Team League is absolutely 100% dead. Who's playing now? This is Partin the Protoss player, slowly. Yeah, Team League's dead. I was thinking about doing a WardiTV mini Team League, which is teams of 2 players, because I feel like I might be able to have the brain cells to organize and schedule that, but I have some thinking to do about it. Yeah, there's going to be a 2v2. The game after this one will be 2v2, guys. Game after this one will be 2v2. Double Stargate Phoenix here from Partin. Already dropping a robo facility, though. This feels like a very fast robo behind the Phoenix, but let's see how this continues. Archon League, any team size allowed? That'd be dumb. No, I was thinking of doing like a 2v2. I was thinking of doing not a 2v2, but like a 2-person team league where basically the match form would be like best of 5s in the first 2 games. It was actually kind of weirdly similar to this, or like we do like, I didn't decide exactly, but it'd be like 2 games of like 1v1, each player plays each other player on the other team. And then you have the like a 2v2 or something as well, and like maybe an Archon match also. I didn't properly think about it yet, but I was gonna ask some of the players what they kind of thought, if they thought it would be fun, or if they thought it'd just be kind of lame. I wanted to try and get some ideas on it. Game for Wardy got tangled in the Korean girls and stayed for the 2v2. This game's just become a mess already, hasn't it? That's what happens. Early game PvZ. Suddenly we're 6 minutes in and nothing's happened. I mean, okay, it's double Stargate Phoenix and things are happening. For once, it's kind of an exciting PvZ because these Phoenix will start to get something done against, well, a bit of an attempt to link Bane Bus, but, I mean, there is an Oracle up. Ling is obviously, en masse, Ling is obviously very good against Phoenix Stars because in general you're not going to be able to lift up all of the Lings, etc. However, in this circumstance right here, it's looking pretty good right now. All those Banes a little bit stuck. The recall comes in. Well, those units will be saved, but the third base is probably going to go down. Oracle does show up though, and a few Lings starting to drop. Extra Lings are going to show up as well. Phoenix is going to decide to come back home. I mean, if they can just lift up the Banelings, that'd be kind of nice. You do see a couple Force Fields coming down. The Oracle still doing good damage. Most of the Banelings going off without really connecting on anything there. And PartinG does defend, but loses his third base. Why not have a full-on 2v2 team league? Because I feel like if it's purely 2v2, the viewership isn't there, and I feel as though the interest isn't there from the players either. People have experimented with 2v2s before, and it just doesn't justify the cost. I thought like a two-man team league sort of format where it's mostly 1v1 with a couple of fun games, and kind of like this. It kind of adds that fun element, and it adds like a team element. It just makes it, it's kind of like a 1v1 tournament, just a bit different because you're kind of working in pairs. Anyways, it was just a thought I had. With the current team league around now, maybe we don't need it. I really wish I could bring the actual team league back. It just StarCraft 2 doesn't have any teams anymore. We have some teams, but we don't have teams with enough players on, which is why I kind of thought like the two-man team was good, because there is a few teams with 2 people on, and you don't have all the drama of like, oh my god, can we hire a player to play for us, and like, can we have like a, all of this and that. I don't know. Anyways, let's really talk about the StarCraft, because this game's been a bit intriguing with the Phoenix flying around. PartinG's been trying to get some damage done here and there, as we do see the extra Zealots just warping into the right side. A few Banelings morphing in now from Impact down to the south, as this Oracle is just patrolling backwards and forwards, just waiting for kind of units like this to kind of show up. See what Impact achieves with this. He's got into Hydras behind all of this as well, so those 14 Hydras currently in production, going to be popping out any second now. There's actually Colossus coming up from PartinG, which is kind of brave. Those 2 Banes are going running after those probes, but the probes get away. PartinG responded in plenty of time there. Nicely done. Again, just going to be seeing those few units just sat on the third base. Lings coming up towards the top, and, well, the Phoenix also coming around the left-hand side here. Colossus just going to be sat firing away as we see a couple of probes going down as those Banelings roll on in. Phoenix still just hanging around out in the center. Aspire about halfway done as well right now, plus 2 melee coming up. Temple Archives is about to finish up also. And we do see those Lings actually finding a Colossus out the front. That's a big deal. I mean, 1 Colossus is not really all that scary. 2 would have been a lot scarier. But one feels very engaged. Well, 1 doesn't really get that splash damage that you need done to really kind of make these Hydras kind of suck against Colossus, which is what they usually do. Well, here we go. Ling's going to come in from behind. I mean, look at that. PartinG straight out there. He's not going to waste time. He recalls home straight away. Starts up another Colossus. Starts up Psystorm. He realizes that this push is not going to work out. However, now the Ling Bane is already on this other side. A few Banes come streaming forwards already and just seeing what they can connect into. They get towards the High Templar there. Nice lift on the Warp Prism to save them. He wants to keep them as High Templar as well, not Archons, because he wants the energy for when Storm finishes. Is he going to have that long, though? Because already Impact is moving along towards the upper right-hand side. Obviously, coming along as well. A few more Banes coming in down to the far south. Hydra's going to start working their way through these rocks at the moment, and we are just going to be seeing, again, Lings just on the way up. Hydra speed is coming through also. Another few Banes just getting set up to the left-hand side. So, again, getting this ready to go, as we do have the army of our Protoss looking for defense, but I mean, he doesn't have that many force fields. He only has 2 Colossus. Storm is 10 seconds away. I mean, if Storm finishes, it is such a huge deal here. And it looks as though it will be finished for the fight, so that's going to be a big part of this, as PartinG will look to try and defend. Banes start rolling forwards. First Storm was pretty good. Banes from the other side. Hydras too. The next couple of Storms are good on the Hydras as well. It's just the fact that they're coming in from 2 different angles. Bane's connecting. High Templar get lifted in the Warp Prism, then get blown up as they drop back down. There's way too many Hydras left over, and Impact has just had way too good of a game. PartinG just felt as though off into this. Let's just turn off the bit boss, which is a bit out of position. Relocate this. Where's the bit boss? Bit boss. There we go. Boom. So let's do this. TZ versus TP action. Bottom right hand side will be our teal Protoss player PartinG, joining up with the blue Terran player Taeja. And team group assignment. They're down 0-3, and this is a must win for them to stay in the tournament because this is already the loser's bracket. As we have to the top left hand side of the map, it is our purple Terran player aLive with his teammate from Titan X1 as well, Impact. Alright. Game number 4 of this series, the 2v2 stage of this. Taeja is back. Yes, he is. He's finished his military service and he's back to competing. I know, very exciting, isn't it? Last match, Taeja played Zerg in the 2 vs 2. Yeah, he did, didn't he? And he just lost out. He just didn't have the ground force with the Hydroling Bane to kind of keep up, even though he had a really good economy in comparison to his opponent. Now, in 2v2, a lot of strategy and meta, you know, is not going to be kind of what I can come up and tell you about, but I do know, for example, like Phoenix are a very strong way to play because you have those Phoenix to harass, and they do a lot of harassment while your opponent kind of just supports you on the ground. So it's kind of like a good little kind of combo. So that's something we could maybe see from the Protoss, from the side of this with a Protoss involved. We'll see. There's 2 gates for the moment from PartinG, as we see a couple of adepts on the way up. Wolf Gate as well. Taeja opened up with a pretty quick expansion here, so he actually goes CC first. Playing on Emerald City for these 2v2s throughout the season, I believe, and the Emerald City is actually a very macro-heavy 2v2 map. You know, you've got your main base, and it's obviously got both players inside the same main. Your naturals are joined up as well with a ramp up into them. You've got this other pathway too, but in general, it's all ramped up into. There's a lot of kind of dead airspace over here, which can maybe make drops very good and so on. But you need something, because the natural on this right side is very defended. This base is very defended. In general, it's just a large map to move across. As we do just see, the Reaper is going to be moving across the map here from aLive. aLive and Impact apparently are just going to be talking in their allied chat all the way through this. Is that what's been going on so far? I think so. So I think aLive and Impact are just having some discussions. Be like, okay, well, you know, aLive's like, oh, you made a Reaper. And aLive's like, yeah, I always make a Reaper. And Impact's like, well, we're not meant to make a Reaper in 2v2. God damn it, aLive, you're such an idiot. Have you ever 2v2 before? And aLive's like, no, I haven't. Yeah, I play a difficult race. I can't fuck around playing 2v2s all the time like Zerg players. Impact's like, oh shit, yeah, that's true. Feels bad, man. Impact says that it was like 7,000 2v2 victories. Marines on the high ground going to pick off this Reaper. And we do see the couple of Lings coming forwards as well. Everything trying to scout right now, but Taeja and PartinG keep a pretty solid defense at the front, and all of that goes down. Impact's like, god damn, I told you we didn't need a fucking Reaper, man. Are you kidding me? I think he's saying something about the 2 gate. I'm going to assume he's saying there's 2 gateways. Ah, there's 2 gateways aLive. And aLive's like, okay, cool. But he also expanded. And Impact's like, there's 2 freaking gateways. You know how many adepts that is? Oh my god. Resonating Glaive's on the way up here at the moment. As we do have the robot facility dropping down as well from PartinG back over in the main base. So robot facility dropping down here, as we do have the engineering bay also starting up from aLive on the far left hand side. His upgrade's going to be rolling very soon. But Taeja, I mean, you compare players at the moment. Taeja's a couple workers ahead. He's ahead on Stimpack. He's ahead on +1. So in the terms of the Terrans, Taeja has a bit of a lead. Although aLive does have faster medevacs. Meanwhile, Impact is, well, continuing to pump out Queens. Going into Ling Bane at the moment to help him defend against these Adepts, perhaps. And PartinG's just going straight into a Temple Archive, so maybe for PartinG, he's thinking about getting some Archon drop action underway here very shortly. G-Crypt teamers getting dropped down. Just going to be spreading forwards. The Adept's going to be, again, a creep teamer there right away. I mean, it's been pressure here from PartinG, but he never really committed in. Now Taeja shows up with a few Marines as well. Impact Overlord sees all of this. You see a scan coming down, so some of the creep spread going to be pushed back here right away. As Taeja coming straight on through with those Marines upon the Adepts. So, whoa! Taeja! Your Marines have just been abandoned, dude, and that's because there is a drop in the main base. So aLive's counter drop here forces the recall. Taeja's Marines are abandoned, left on their own to fight, and they'll get shut down now as well. And PartinG was very quick to abandon his friend there, wasn't he? He was straight out of there. And Taeja didn't have any way to lift up or anything, because we talked about it. His starboard and his medevac's almost definitely delayed. Please, Wardy asked PartinG why he didn't stream in such a long time. And then someone says it's because he hates his subs. But you know what you can do, actually? If PartinG doesn't love you guys, I do know a streamer that does love their subscribers. Their name's Wardy. And every single subscriber will get an equal amount of love and affection from me every single day that you're subscribed. Just so you know. Just in case you weren't sure. Unless your name's slowly falling. In which case you're a doggo abandoner. You're not coming back into my friendship zone. Friendship zone? That was not what I was going to say. Friendship zone? What was the word I'm looking for? You're not coming back in my friendship circle. My sub circle. My circle of sub love. Not friend zone, no. Hashtag doggo abandoner. Marines, Lings pushing forward. See, there's a couple of tanks on the low ground. We've seen this position last week as well. It's very good for sieging up that natural expansion. Same time, Taeja has a counter-attack coming in, so he's going to take down the entire third base of Impact. Meanwhile, PartinG is doing a pretty good job defending with a couple of tanks to back this up as well. Ooh, those Banes take one hell of a beating already. We're just going to be seeing the another storm coming in. All those Banes getting shut down. No speed obviously hurting. Taeja still has units over here, which will continue to do a pretty good job so far, I'd say. Extra Lings and Banes coming through, but now, I mean, Taeja just has the units to reinforce this, and oh my god, there's not even high ground vision, so those tanks are just going to drop on down. PartinG, please don't commit to this shit. Oh my god. PartinG! That was you just lost half your Adepts for no reason. Oh dear. Oh dear. Well, we're just going to be seeing the drops in the main base, though. aLive is still being active, and he is getting quite a lot done. Work counts right now, Taeja's down by 8 compared to aLive, and Impact is up by 15 compared to PartinG. So, I mean, it's been hits taken on both sides. aLive has 20 supply more than Taeja, though, and Impact has 15 supply more than PartinG. I feel like aLive and Impact have got a little bit of a lead, a bit of an advantage at the moment. aLive's adding in Ghosts to deal with the composition of PartinG here, so a few Ghosts on the way up. We're seeing a concussive shell upgrade coming in here from aLive now. On this barracks on the far left, another CC coming down as aLive begins to expand. Taeja has a third base. So in terms of economy, I mean, Taeja's got a good setup to go into, but he's still only currently on 37 workers. Those workers going down over in the main etc. definitely do suck for him. They definitely do have a little bit of pain. Well, we do see the units here from aLive. I love this as well. Just Impact and aLive just on the map, right? They have all of the presence here. Whereas PartinG and Taeja are just cornered into their bases. PartinG will have a Prism to try and get something done. Why is he gonna recall his Prism? That doesn't make any sense to me. I mean, does he just need them at home to deal with these Marines? Because it is High Templar in the Prism. I feel as though maybe, I guess maybe he just thought that it was best to bring it into play. First couple of storms are decent. The EMP's coming down here and there. PartinG trying to help push this back. Impact is now up to 4 bases, including this gold base along the top side. aLive obviously up to the 3 bases as well, taking the far left as Taeja takes the far right. 2 medevacs coming across here. This time Impact does have some units back at home. And the Queen going to start nibbling away at that medevac. And it's going to allow for this to continue looking good. Tank fires again, that Zerglin gets taken down. Still got some Marines, tanks, and Ghosts just set up here. The Warp Prism from PartinG goes down. Not even sure what PartinG had in the Warp Prism this time, but if it was anything, even just killing the Prism is a huge deal. As we see these couple of tanks just on the low ground. Now given high ground vision by these Zerglings, which are nibbling away at some probes. And Taeja and PartinG are starting to really be choked out of this game. The Ghosts load up into the medevac and they go backwards just a little bit here. See a few more links continue to push on forwards. We see a drop into the main base again. PartinG is once again losing probes. Drop after drop from aLive has just turned out to be so successful here today. I mean, he just has not had a drop which hasn't found multiple workers. And now PartinG is down 17 workers, and he is not going to be much of an influence in the rest of this game any longer. And so it's Taeja to try and take on 2 members of Titan X1, but will Taeja be able to? He's still trying to defend his teammate as well. PartinG just seems to die and not really do very much, doesn't he? As you see some Banes rolling into Marines up on the top side. Medivacs will boost back away over to the right-hand side as a couple of barracks going to be continuing to come up as well. More Lings and Banes continue to come through here. Storm coming down. And we are going to be seeing a few of those being picked off. Again, Marines stimming once again as those Banes get pushed away. And again, Overlord's being pulled back as well. Marines still pushing in. Overseer goes down. The Overlords being pulled back out into the center. A few of these Marines and Mortars just chilling out at the front. They're just going to actually find these Marauders. I mean, the Marauders are obviously not great in a TVT circumstance. They're good against Protoss, but in this case, the Marines and Taeja will actually win that fight quite handily. Chasing forwards as well. I mean, again, like in the TVT aspect of this, aLive's army is kind of, you know, tailored towards the Protoss player, not towards the Terrans. So Taeja will take advantages in those fights with a better composition. There's Impact coming around the right-hand side with a whole ton of Zerglings. In the main again, though, aLive has just done so much with these drops. It's actually incredible. Taeja currently up in supply over aLive right now. Oh my god, PartinG's all choked up here, but somehow survived. 24 army supply that he's trying to use to storm his opponents to death. And as we see the Ling counter-attack is just about, I mean, all of these SCVs of Taeja are looking as though they're going down. It doesn't look as though there's going to be any other units left on the map right now for Taeja and PartinG. It's just about this army that's moving forward, and already PartinG loses quite a bit of it. Even Taeja's army's looking a little bit worse for wear over here. 4 tanks, a very low number of Marines. And Impact says, go, go! As we do see the units coming in very easily and cleaning that up. Is that go-go? That's not even go-go, is it? No, it is. It's a gust sound. Yeah, it is. It's a gust sound. It's like go-go. Or maybe it's just GG. Maybe he just thinks it's over. Wow. Impact. Look at him. 2v2 baller, man. He's just calling games early. His opponents haven't even shown a sign of leaving the game. He's like, yeah, it's over, man. aLive's probably like, I don't believe you, man. Like, I'm gonna make sure they're dead. And Impact's like, nah, fuck it, I'm out of here. It is typed in allies chat, guys, so it isn't said to the rest of them as well. Now Impact says ta-ta, I think, which I don't know what it means. But right now, Taeja is kind of soloing them both. Can the Banelings connect? Some Lings coming back in to run by. Taeja keeps on kiting backwards. Has to start splitting up a little bit. PartinG is somehow has 300 APM, even though he has absolutely nothing on the map. What is PartinG doing? If we just switch to PartinG's vision right now, I just wanted to see what PartinG was doing. I don't know. A GG is called, but I mean, what on earth did he have 350 APM for when he's dead? Let's just have a check to see what PartinG was doing. I'm interested. Is this PartinG? This is PartinG. So PartinG is just, oh, was PartinG just multitasking with Taeja? Ah, maybe PartinG was just microing Taeja's army to help out. Or maybe not helping out. Yeah, you can see he's selecting things. Ah. Well, that's kind of cool.